Dolphins fans, hold on tight because today's vibe is electric. Something's shaking the foundation in Miami, and it's not just inside the locker room. There's tension, movement, and maybe even a transformation that could change everything we thought we knew about this team. You think you've seen a crisis before? Wait until you hear what's happening behind the scenes. Is the leadership about to shift? Or is the locker room about to reinvent itself from the inside? You're not going to believe this one. So sit back, drop a like, and let's get right into it. Subscribe to the channel so we can hit 1,000 subs and show how strong this fan base really is. You know that feeling when the ground starts shaking right before an earthquake? That's what it feels like around Miami right now. The pressure on Mike McDaniel has hit a level that even the most optimistic fans can't ignore. It started as small whispers, but now it's turned into a full-on storm. Sources close to the team say if things don't turn around fast, McDaniel's run might be nearing its end. The game against the Browns could decide everything. The crazy part is, the record doesn't tell the whole story. Miami's sitting at 1-5, but that number doesn't show how competitive they've actually been. In almost every game except that disaster of an opener against the Colts, the Dolphins fought until the very last second. But there's a pattern that's becoming impossible to ignore. Blown leads, mental collapses, brutal mistakes in crunch time. That's not bad luck, that's a symptom. And when it becomes a habit, both owners and fans start asking the hard questions about who's really in control. Last week's game against the Chargers felt like the turning point. Touchdown with under a minute left, up on the scoreboard, and then heartbreak. One missed tackle, a blown coverage, and the kick that sealed it. 29-27. Another gut punch. The kind that hurts more than a blowout because it shows the team can't finish. And it's not just one game. Against the Panthers, same story. Build a lead, lose focus, and walk off with that empty, stunned look. Analysts are starting to call it a pattern. Miami plays with fire early, then burns out in the fourth quarter. That's the difference between teams that dream and teams that win. And that's the shadow over McDaniel right now. Can he fix that mentality before the rope snaps? The locker room feels divided, which is the most dangerous sign of all. When Tua Tagovailoa's post-game comments hit the airwaves, what were cracks suddenly turned into full-on fractures. He was trying to lead, but instead, he may have lit a match in a room already filled with gas. Fans are split. Some still believe in the McDaniel way, his creative play calling, his aggressive offense. Others think he's lost the locker room, and once that happens, no amount of strategy can save you. If Miami blows another late lead, the front office might have no choice but to make a move. In this league, patience is a luxury, and results are the only language that matters. And that's not even the wildest part. Because what's going on between Tua and the rest of the locker room might be fueling this entire fire. When the storm brews behind closed doors, there's always lightning that hits dead center. And that lightning came straight from Tua Tagovailoa's own mouth. After that painful 29-27 loss to the Chargers, Tua decided to vent. But what started as frustration turned into chaos. He called out teammates for being late to private meetings, and that cracked open a wound that had been quietly festering. In the NFL, bad leadership can break a team faster than a bad defense. The reaction was instant. League sources say a few veterans were upset not just about what he said, but how he said it. There's a big difference between calling people out in the locker room and doing it in front of cameras. One former NFL quarterback who chose to stay anonymous said he was shocked by Tua's move. In his words, a real leader takes the blame, protects the locker room, and fixes things behind the scenes. You never throw your guys under the bus. That quote spread fast. Fans, analysts, even ex-players picked it apart. Suddenly, the conversation turned to maturity and what it really means to be the face of a franchise. And here's the tricky part. Many believe Tua had someone specific in mind when he made those comments. Even though he didn't drop names, that set off a witch hunt inside the locker room. Everyone's looking sideways now. The media is pressing, tensions are rising, and the team's unity is fading by the day. McDaniel had to step in and remind everyone that locker room business stays in-house. But trying to calm that storm right now feels like tossing water on a wildfire. So what happens with Tua now? He apologized, said it was heat of the moment stuff, claimed the loss hit him hard, but is sorry enough to rebuild broken trust? Some teammates felt exposed, especially the quiet leaders who'd rather fix things privately. You can feel the tension, now body language, tone, everything's just a little off. And that disconnect is already showing on the field. A quarterback needs connection, not conflict. When the leader loses emotional control of the group, performance tanks. Miami's 1-5, and the problem isn't just technical anymore, it's psychological. Tua's got to earn that locker room back. One play, one meeting at a time. Because if he doesn't, the narrative flips from leader to liability. And in Miami, that kind of fall hits hard. But hold on, because the next piece might actually flip this story around. There's a defensive change coming that could shake the entire structure of this team. When everything's falling apart, that's when creativity becomes your best weapon. And right now, the Dolphins are making a move that's bold enough to spark a real turnaround. A defensive shift born right inside the building. No trades, no big contracts, just guts and vision. Linebackers coach Joe Barry made a call that caught everyone off guard. Jordan Colbert, who's been listed as a safety, is now officially moving to linebacker. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a strategic gamble that screams both desperation and innovation. Colbert, a second-year player out of Rhode Island, flashed that raw, explosive energy all camp long. 97 defensive snaps in the preseason, 30 of them playing closer to the line like this move, was already written in the stars. The staff saw his juice, his physicality, that relentless energy the defense has been missing when it matters most. His pro day numbers back it up. 4.6 in the 40, nearly a 40-inch vertical, elite quickness for his size. This kid doesn't just arrive, he hits. This isn't just a tactical tweak, it's a statement. When things aren't clicking, great coaches shake the snow globe. Miami wants speed, intensity, controlled chaos, and Colbert fits that blueprint perfectly. He's that kind of missile who can blow up plays before they even develop. We've seen stories like this before. Jamie and Sherwood in New York. Divine DeBlow in Vegas, they both made that safety tool linebacker leap and ended up being core leaders on defense. The Dolphins are hoping Colbert can be that guy. Barry believes he can make an instant impact. Inside this locker room, this move means more than a positional shift, it's psychological. It says this team still believes in progress, even when surrounded by chaos. Fans are reacting with a mix of excitement and skepticism. Some say this is the spark Miami's been missing. Others think it's a desperate roll of the dice. But either way, it's got people talking. And maybe that's what this team needs, a fresh heartbeat. Because when a player's willing to reinvent himself from within, that energy can ripple through the whole roster. If Colbert hits like the coaches think he will, we might be witnessing the birth of a new defensive identity in Miami. So now, with everything changing from the locker room to the playbook, the question is, will this new energy finally turn into real results next week? Dolphins fans, this is a defining moment. We're watching a team fight for its soul, battling through pressure, pride, and pain. McDaniel's under fire, Tua's leadership is on the line, and Colbert might just be the symbol of rebirth this team needs. Nobody said it'd be easy, but it's in the storms that the real warriors emerge. So I'm asking you, do you still believe? Drop your comment, hit that like button, and let's show the world how strong this fan base really is. The comeback starts with us.